we're here for a second stream of the day, but the second stream is definitely a slightly different one to earlier, where we are going to be interviewing as part of our Streamer Spotlight series. For May, it's asteroids. So we are going to jump on to the Egg Cart server, which has been kindly put together and is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and that is hosted by Hard Home. But we are going to jump on in a second, and we're going to ask asteroids a load of questions. But yeah, like I said, a big thank you to Evil Lins and to OGT for their continued support. These things, they really do run a lot more smoothly when you got people who know what they're doing behind the scenes. So we're going to say hi to asteroids, and then we're going to get into it. Def Leppard, Run Riot was his opening music, so we are going to get into it now. We've got a really cool scene in Egg Cart, and so some of you may recognize it. Some of you may need to try a little bit fucking harder to get there. So we're going to jump onto it now because Asteroids has been very kindly waiting for me to move my ass. So here we go. Let's do this. Hey dude, I'm back.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry about that. We listened to the entirety of the Def Leppard song and then jumped over. And so we'll just introduce you, as asteroids. But our first question is: did you ever think about using a different name, and why did you go with the name Asteroids?
I've been gaming for a long time, dude, and I've had numerous gamer tags. And
Okay.
when I hit on Asteroids, I immediately knew that I'd liked it a lot. And like all my friends when they first saw it were just like, Jesus Christ, dude, that's hilarious, And I'm like a pun guy by nature. I like dad jokes and stupid puns and stuff like that. So it also sort of illustrated. It was one of the first video games I ever played was Asteroids. It was I'm of that era. Like I'm an older dude, so it came out of my love for old arcade games and never really being satisfied with the gamer tag that I had. Like I was Vince Clortho for a while, which is the dog from Ghostbusters. What else was that? I was Rupert Pupkin, which is that was what I originally started streaming on Twitch as, was Rupert Pupkin. That's a character, that's Robert De Niro's character from a movie. But yeah, once I hit Asteroids, it got a lot of positive feedback from people. People got the pun, so the rest is history.
So how many names did you have then, do you think, before you then settled on Asteroids?
I had like 3 or 4. Like I've been gaming forever, so as soon as you could like type a name into a game, like I was thinking back, when you sent me these questions beforehand, I saw this one and was thinking about it, and I used to play a ton of SOCOM on like PlayStation 2, and I would cycle through usernames on there as well, and that game was such a shit show with cheaters that it started off me like searching for a cool handle, but it ended up being me evading bans because I eventually bought a Game Shark to play that game because it got so bad with cheaters that the only way to play it was to cheat. So every username that I would use, people would, realize you were some Game Shark cheater and you'd get booted. So I'd have to change my name, and there was no like accounts or anything back then. So, but it was a long search for Asteroids. I've been Asteroids for PS4 was the first time I used it. So whenever PS4 first came out was when I got that name. So a while ago, but not that long ago.
Okay, we are going to talk a little bit more in a bit about your kind of gaming history, gaming journey.
Roger.
But we'll get there. So, but how do people in your life react to the title streamer and the fact that you are one?
They have no fucking idea what it is at all. They kind of go, "What do you do? Oh, people watch games online." Like just all the stereotypical. Well, that's dumb. Like, why do people watch video games? You get some of that, but my family's been supportive. But like, I don't tell random people like at work that I stream because nobody gets it. They're just like, "Huh?" So.
No, I totally understand that. I totally get that.
Yeah.
And it's strange, isn't it? Because it's in a sense it is literally entertainment in a way.
Yeah.
And it's horses for courses. It's
yeah.
If we all like the same music or all like the same films or if we all like the same sports or whatever, then life would be boring. So it is just another facet of.
Yeah. I view it just like sport. Like I don't really. This is another question that you're probably going to get to, but I don't watch a lot of sports, um, because I watch a lot of video games instead. And so
Hmm.
when somebody's like, "Oh, what a waste of time! You just watch video games," I always just throw it back at them. It's like, do you watch football? Do you watch soccer? Do you watch baseball? Do you watch hockey? Any of those things. I view those as like passive activities where you are, an activity is being projected at you and you are absorbing it. Whereas video games, you're an active participant in it, which
Hmm.
is why I find it like infinitely more interesting.
That's a cool way of looking at it. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Okay, what you're going to find is obviously you've seen the questions. It is quite scattergun in the way that we approach this, so we will bounce from topic to topic. So, are you a big eater during streams? And if you do, what's your favorite food to snack on during a stream?
Just as like a snack, I like chips, all kinds of different chips. Like I like Doritos and Fritos and whatever, potato chips, different flavors, varieties. I love trying all kinds of chips, which is usually what I do on stream. But rarely, like if I'm doing a really long stream, leftovers is the second answer to that. I will reheat like some fried rice or something that I've got, and I usually don't eat while I stream. It'll be like during a break or something like that too. So.
Okay, so I've got two spin-off questions from this. What's your favorite flavor of Dorito?
Regular old Doritos. Straight up nacho cheese Doritos is the OG. Never
Okay.
be beat.
And then, kind of secondly, then, if you've put in a bit of a long stream, because today is going to be quite a long stream. I think you were on about 8 hours currently, maybe.
Approximately, yeah.
What would be the first thing that you try and pull out the fridge or the freezer or the cupboard immediately after you've had a long stream?
This is kind of an embarrassing question, but I'm going to answer it honestly because
Go on.
I trust you, Gutter. I like to
Oh
eat
dear.
shredded cheese right out of the bag. I will go up to the refrigerator and I'll be like passing by it, and I will grab the bag of shredded cheese, and I'll just reach in and grab a handful and just eat a mouthful of shredded cheese, and then put the bag back in the fridge. No one else wants to use the bag of shredded cheese that I eat out of for that reason.
Listen, there's
But
no judgment here, but what
it's
everyone
my
else
cheese.
says.
It is,
Yeah, it's
and
your
I
cheese.
just
Yeah.
Yeah, I like cheese. It's a nice kind of salty. I'm a salty snack kind of guy, and cheese is a little salty, so I will eat shredded cheese right out of the bag right after stream. It's like this protein infused.
Also, highly distracted. Then it was like, should we go for that heli crash? But we probably shouldn't. Okay. Okay. So, favorite food and drink in general. So, if you're gonna have like a 3-course meal, what would be your set menu? What's your meal? What's your go-to?
Mexican. I love Mexican
Okay.
food. Enchiladas. I love enchilada sauce. I like shredded chicken enchiladas with like enchilada sauce. But I also really like seafood, sushi, raw oysters, that stuff. I'm a pretty adventurous eater. I was a real picky eater when I was a kid, like extremely. And I cracked that nut in my early teens because I just started going, this is stupid. I should just try all this stuff, and ended up being kind of a foodie. Like I like exotic things. I'll try just about anything. But yeah, Mexican, anything like lobster, shrimp, oysters.
That's actually really interesting. Like the fact that you were such a picky eater then and went the opposite direction then as you got through your. Hang on, how early teens? Or was it late teens?
Like 13, 14.
Okay. Because you
Yeah.
normally
So-
find like 13, 14s are very stuck in their ways, but that's quite adventurous then for a 13, 14-year-old to start branching out
Yeah,
food-wise.
and I don't know what the trigger was for it. And when I say picky eater, like I had a standoff once with my great grandmother because my brother and I, both my parents worked when I was young. I was like in the United States, they refer to you as a latchkey kid, which means you had a key around your neck. So when you got home, your parents weren't home because they both worked, and you would let yourself in your house. And it was an anomaly at the time, like in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so during the summer, both my parents worked, so they would send us to our great grandparents' house, and we would work with our great grandfather out in his yard, and then my grandmother, we'd do stuff in the house with her, and they basically like babysat us, right? But I got in a standoff with her once because she made me a sandwich, and I asked her specifically to not put mayonnaise on it, and she put mayonnaise on my fucking sandwich, and I sat in her kitchen for 6 hours and didn't eat her fucking sandwich because she put mayonnaise on it.
Is the rumor, is it that the sandwich is still there, or what happened to the sandwich?
I don't know. I think she had to throw it away because I refused to eat that fucking thing. I won that contest that day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
how about
I was like I was like 8 and she was like 80. And that was the fight
wow.
that was going on that day. Yeah.
The will of an 8-year-old versus the
Yeah.
patience of an
No, seriously. Fuck you.
80-year-old.
I'm not eating
Wow.
that sandwich. It's got mayonnaise on it.
How about to drink? What's your go-to drinks?
Boy. Again, I like a variety of stuff. I'm a
Mhm.
Coca-Cola man. That's mostly a holdover from when I used to drink a lot more alcohol than I currently do. I was a Jack and Coke guy for a long time. I love it. I don't drink a lot of sodas, but I'll drink a Coke. I like a good root beer. Those are kind of my go-tos. But mostly I just drink, water or coffee.
Nice. Okay, like I said, we are going to scattergun around a little bit. So we know that animals play a lot of parts of lives in a lot of streamers. Do you have any pets, or did you have any pets growing up?
I've had a lot of pets growing up. We currently have a cat. He's a
Okay.
domestic short hair, standard. It's got like the swirly brown pattern on him. He just looks like a cat. His name's Alex. He's dumb, but he's cool. Um, I've had a lot. I've had dogs. I've had cats. I've had birds. I've had fish. I used to do aquariums a lot. So I always had lots of pets, but just the one good boy right now, Alex.
What would you say is possibly then the most? I want to use the word exotic, but obviously it might not be exotic. But obviously, your regular dogs and cats. But what's the most exotic pet then you've had? Is it birds or anything else?
I'd say it was one of the dogs I had. I had a retired racing greyhound was the last dog
Okay.
that I owned, and he was the coolest dog I've ever had. He was the biggest sweetheart on the planet. Like he just loved to snuggle, and you would take him out in the backyard a couple times a day, and he'd race around super fast. But yeah, he was a real good boy, and I didn't expect. I've had several dogs. I've had like poodles, and I've known my brother's a big dog guy, and so he's had numerous breeds. So I've been exposed to like a lot of dogs. Um, but I just didn't realize like how kind of docile greyhounds were. Like you expect them to be this super high energetic animal, and they're not because they're sprinters. They
Hmm.
spend you know a couple of minutes every day running really fast, and then they're just super lazy. They just lay around all the time. So he was a real fun dog. He would like to go for a walk. You take him out at night, take him out in the morning, and then he would just kind of lay around and snuggle all day. So yeah, pretty
Like
cool.
I think I've read somewhere or been told that like greyhounds, previous like racing greyhounds, are quite hard to home, given that the life they've led. So that's really cool. That
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was really chill.
yeah. They and it's weird too because some of the stuff, their whole life was at the racetrack, and a lot
Hmm.
of racing in the United States has fallen off. Like it has lost popularity severely mostly because of the mistreatment of the animals.
Hmm.
Um, but the interesting things were like they've never seen a ceiling fan before, so those kind of
Yeah.
freak them out. Most of them have never ever encountered stairs before, so like they're not they're grown dogs that have never used stairs because it's the barn to the truck to the track to the truck to the barn to the truck to the track to the barn to the truck, and that was it. And they just
Yeah,
never
I
been
never
up or
thought of
down
that.
stairs before. Yeah. So when we got him, like we had this house that was like a split level, so it had 6 stairs going down to the basement from the main level and 6 stairs going to the upstairs from the main level, and even just 6 steps were baffling to him for several days. Like he would put 1 foot down and then he'd get nervous and he'd back up, and then he'd put 1 foot down and then 2 feet down, and it was like a real process. Like he just pointing down like that as an adult dog that's tall is way different than learning it when you're just a puppy and you're like right down there. So it was, weird stuff like that because they just never. Yeah, it's sad too because that's essentially like abuse. Those dogs have just never gotten to be dogs. They were just
Yeah.
used, for money to race. So yeah, but yeah, he was real
I'd
cool.
never even considered that.
Yeah, if you're looking for a real chilled out dog, and some of them get a little, you have to find the right one. Within every dog breed, there's always wide variance of behavior, right? But if you can find yourself a cool greyhound, they just sit around a lot and just want to like chill out with you.
Oh, cool. Okay, so let's talk a little bit then about travel and vacations. Do you have a favorite place to visit, and where do you visit that makes you the most happy?
The beach. I love the beach. I can be in the most stressful moment of my life, and if I'm at a beach where there are waves crashing, everything gets better immediately. Something about that sound is just calming.
Hmm.
Um, I grew up in Minnesota where there is no ocean, but my favorite place up there was to go up to like Lake Superior. So just like any large body of water just kind of like relaxes me.
So, where's your favorite beach then? Do you have one?
Oh, Cocoa Beach in Florida. And if you ever have the chance to go, spend 2 weeks there because you will not run out of shit to do. Disney World's near there. You can see the NASA's vehicle assembly building at Cape Canaveral. You can see it from Cocoa Beach, and you're like super south. So people like will stay there and watch rocket launches and stuff, and that's something I'm super into. I love NASA and space stuff. But the beach is amazing. It's one of the best places to learn how to surf in the world because there's just so much good surf to check out, and I don't know, it's real chill down there. I don't know, something about Cocoa Beach. That was my favorite vacation I've ever been on.
Nice. Also, you mentioned it a little bit earlier before about not being a big sports guy, but have you ever followed any teams or you taking part in anything in particular as you grew up?
So I mentioned I grew up in Minnesota, so I was supposed to be programmed to be a Minnesota Vikings fan in the NFL, and they're terrible. They've always been terrible, and so it just never took. So I was always I like to go to live games. Like I would go to like an NFL game, and I would go see the Minnesota Twins play baseball. I go see the Minnesota Timberwolves play basketball, and I enjoyed that. But I can't really ever just watch it on TV. I get so bored. It's too long and it takes too much time. But if I'm there, it's more of an experience. My favorite sport to watch has become soccer. And that happened through my son playing soccer in like the local recreational league, and
Okay.
I love it. I think it's of all sports that I've ever been forced to watch, it is by far the best one. And here's why: they don't stop playing; they just play 45-minute half, 45-minute half, and you're out. It's not the NFL where it's play stop, play stop, play. That drives me crazy, dude. And growing up, I was never really exposed to soccer, but I've become a much bigger fan of it just because it doesn't waste your fucking time. Let's just get a game on and go. And it's beautiful. It's a very beautiful sport. Soccer is very elegant, whereas a lot of other sports I feel are just kind of like these gladiator competitions that sort of piss me off.
Yeah. Is there a team that you particularly support then, or is it just because of through watching your son play?
It's my son's team. The Waves. Go Waves.
Go Waves. I like it. Will you be then watching? For some reason it won't let me like this. Will you be watching the World Cup?
Yeah, actually, so when my son started playing soccer when he was real young, I bought the package to watch like the World Cup or whatever that year to like see if I could kind of sort of get him into it, and it totally worked. And we had it was the time that the U.S. made it actually pretty far, so we were kind of rooting for the home team. And I cannot remember the goalie's name, but the thing I remember most about it was he had an amazing game where he just blocked a ton of goals. And somebody went on Wikipedia after and updated the entry for the Ministry of Defense to be a picture of the U.S. goalie because he had such a good game. And it was just something about that just like hooked me, It was like it sort of sucked me into it a little bit. So yeah,
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of American keepers. So there was Casey Keller. There was Brad Friedel.
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was a while ago too. I can't remember who it was
before that.
Yeah,
but yeah, the World Cup should be interesting because it's spread. I'm almost sure it's spread. I might have got this wrong. Spread across Canada, the United States, and Mexico.
I don't want our country to like ruin something that is important to a lot of other countries. You know what I mean? Like the World Cup is a big deal. In my opinion, it's probably the premier sporting event on the planet Earth. And I don't want our country to fuck it up because of reasons.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Okay, so what is... This is where you're going to be thinking, what the hell? Do you have a favorite color, and does it have a meaning?
It's a tie between the colors black and blue, and it constantly changes. I wear black T-shirts a lot with like nerd shit on them, and I like blue jeans. The first car that I ever bought for myself was a Jeep Wrangler, and it was black and blue. So
Nice. Okay, so a lot of people struggle on this one, so you might not have an answer. But can you tell us what your last dream was, and have you ever had a DayZ-based dream?
So that's kind of funny. We were actually talking about that while I was streaming today. When I fall asleep watching a streamer, on several occasions, I will start having a dream where I think I'm playing with that streamer in my dream, and we're just having a grand old time. And it's happened with TRMZ, who I used to watch a lot. When I first started watching Twitch, I watched a lot of TRMZ. And then Rich T Biscuits was in my chat today, and it's happened with him because he's on late at night a lot, and so I will leave a stream on the TV while I'm sleeping. And I've had a dream that I was playing with Rich before. But in general, I don't dream a lot. I actually have sleep apnea, and I have to wear a mask at night that just like pumps air into your face. And then the other thing is I have a medical prescription for cannabis, and when you use a lot of that, you don't dream very much, which I actually kind of like because I have some problems with PTSD, and usually it manifests itself in nightmares. So I just don't do that anymore. So that kind of helps. It's almost like a medical treatment so that I don't dream, which is it's weird. It's not the healthiest way to live, I'll admit it. But yeah, either I don't remember the dreams or I just don't have them because of that mostly. So
No, that's understandable. So obviously music, from watching you quite a lot recently, music seems to play quite a big part in your streams and in your breaks and stuff like that. So what's your favorite music that you listen to, and can you tell us what the last concert you attended was?
I'll start with the last concert because I love that it's the last concert I went to. It was also my son's first concert, which I think is a
That's cool.
banger. We went and saw Weird Al Yankovic, which was
Wow.
phenomenal. It was phenomenal, dude. If you ever have a chance to see Weird Al live, go. No matter what it costs, he's so good. His band is so tight, dude. Just an experience. Like I grew up with Weird Al, and my son got into him because the song. Of course, the songs are stupid and fun. We had a great time at that show. I have very, very eclectic music tastes. I like a lot of stuff. I play all kinds of different things on my stream. Like I love older country, like Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, that kind of era. Classic rock. I love electronic music, dubstep, hip hop. Beastie Boys is one of my favorite bands of all time. I love Beethoven, all kinds of classical music. I have a huge classical interest. I have a soft spot for like movie soundtracks. Like I'm all over the place. I had back when you used to buy CDs, I had a CD collection of over 3,000 compact discs, which was a lot of money in retrospect.
Wow.
I was a teenager and a 20-something when I was building that thing up. So, but yeah, music is a huge part of my life. Like obviously, if you watch my stream, I play music all the time, and it's just it keeps me sane. Just in general in life, music is just sort of the source of energy for me.
This wasn't a question that we pre-planned then, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. If there's an artist or a band that you could tell people to go away and listen to that they may never have heard of, have you got one in mind?
Question. I do. I have a band that no one has ever heard of. Are you guys ready for this? Write this shit down. They're on Spotify.
Is it going to be Bonerama again?
No. All right. 2 bands I'm going to recommend. For Bonerama. Okay. Yeah. Oh, shit. I just got raided. Hold on. It's very loud.
Raid.
Raid.
Who's raided, Johnny? We need to know.
Salt Machine 92. Oh. If you're not following Salt Machine 92, get over there. We were playing earlier. No worries, Salt, man. Thanks for the game, man.
Hey, Salt.
So this is a band that was popular in Minneapolis, Wisconsin, kind of upper Midwest United States. They were really good. They were a band that formed in a college from southern Minnesota. They were all in the music program together, and it was just like a bunch of really talented musicians got together and formed like this really great band. And they were always on the cusp of like becoming, like at any moment you were like, these guys are going to have an album that's going to come out and they're going to have a video on MTV and they're going to be huge. And it just sort of never happened for them. And the name of the band is Bobby Llama, Bobby Llama, Bobby Llama. They've got like 3 albums in existence. Phenomenal singer, just this really kind of funky. When you saw him live, it made you want to dance. And it's always my favorite band to recommend to people because I know nobody who lives outside of like the upper Midwest United States has ever heard of them before. But they've got enough music out there where you can really get into them and enjoy it, and it's just kind of happy and fun. But yeah, look up Bobby Llama, good stuff.
I've literally just wrote that down. I'm going to try and pop that in the Discord in a bit.
You won't regret it.
Bobby Llama. Okay, cool. Right, okay. So a little bit more of a life question now. So in life, what is your biggest peeve? So what pisses you off the most?
Anti-intellectualism. People who are like intentionally obtuse and stupid drive me insane. And it goes along with like some other traits, like bullies. Bullies are like this. I hate bullies. I'm a red hair freckled guy, and growing up as a kid I got bullied a lot, so I absolutely despise bullies. I don't like gatekeeping pretty much of any kind. Like music is a somewhere where I used to encounter gatekeeping a lot, where it was like, oh god, you listen to them, oh pop music, that sucks, or what. You listen to what radio station? Oh man, you gotta listen to this. That stuff always bothered me as a kid. And so I was like kind of this closet, fan of all kinds of music. And depending on which crowd I was with, you had to like, oh yeah, I'd listen to just classic rock or whatever. So like gatekeeping early on always bothered me. And I'll do one more. Littering. People who litter should be stripped of all their possessions and forced to live in the dump, in my opinion. I can't stand people who litter. I don't get it. You want more opinions? I got more opinions.
Well, I was going to go back to talk about like these. The thing is, I've encountered it myself, and I think a lot of people, and this is a very big generalization. You grow up from having those types of opinions about, say, things like music, films, radio stations, and think, do you know what? Actually, it might not be my taste. Actually, it doesn't make it rubbish, bad, or poor. It's just not for me. Rather than say, oh, that's rubbish. I know the sad thing is, I have definitely encountered adults who haven't grown out of that and go, oh, you like the Stereophonics, and I'm like, the very easy thing for me to do would go, well, you like Bjork, but in fact, you like Bjork. That's your business. I don't care. But
I like Bjork. What are you saying? You don't like Bjork? What's your problem, man? You got a problem with Bjork?
Don't make me shoot you, dude. But it is weird that some people
have harmed you.
You fucking have. People just can't grow up and get out of that stage in their life, and that's a problem.
And I don't get it. I don't understand why it's like that. Like, why can't we just enjoy the things that we like? Why do you have to tell me what I can enjoy? That's what bothers me about it. It's a bully trait. It's a trait of a bully.
Okay, so that's the negative bit done. Okay, so but what personal quality do you look for most then in a friend?
Empathy. If you can't empathize with other people, you're almost not human to me in a way. Like you're just anybody who's got like that center of the universe kind of personality, main character syndrome, that kind of stuff. It stands out, and it's just so cringy that it's you can smell it on people immediately, and when you meet someone who's empathetic, there's an immediate connection with them that it's much more intimate. You can tell this is a person I can be friends with immediately. So it's like it's the thing I look for first, and it's the most important quality I think you can look for in someone.
Beautiful. Okay, we're bouncing now to TVs, films, and the such. So do you have a favorite film? Do you have a favorite TV show? And then the spin-off of all that is, can you give us a box set recommendation to go away and watch?
Oh man. So movies are one of my favorite things ever. I have a deep interest in film. And one of my favorite movies of all time, I'm just going to do my favorite movie, Blade Runner. I love the movie Blade Runner. I've watched it 500 times, not exaggerating. It was a thing where I would, it's crazy. It's okay. But it was a movie where I would be getting ready to go to bed, and I would put on Blade Runner, and I did it for like every night for years in a row was just like the go to bed movie, and then I would end up just watching it all the way through because it's just beautiful, and it's the cinematography, it's the themes behind it. Where are you real? Are you an android? It has themes about slavery in it. It's just such a fascinating take on like near future, and it's science fiction, which is probably the genre I'm most interested in film,
Hmm.
but it's also the genre that's like lacking the most quality in my opinion. Like I am starved for good science fiction. Like please just write me a movie that's about space or near future or post-apocalyptic something or other that's realistic. Like I like that gritty quality to movies. So Blade Runner is just sort of right up my alley. I love the sequel to that movie as well. Blade Runner 2049 is fucking phenomenal, dude. Both just beautiful films. But like this question always bothers me because I could literally talk about just movies with you for hours because I have so many that I love. Um, Box set. What do I got sitting next to me here? I have the Mel Brooks box set sitting next to me here. Spaceballs. All of them are in there. It's so good,
Baseballs
dude.
is a fucking classic.
It's a banger. And he's making a sequel. The sequel's coming out next year. I'm so
I,
excited.
yeah, I hope I hope it's done really well. Otherwise,
Yep.
I don't think it would take the original because it's been that long. I just hope it's
But
it's good.
he's just like the most like when you're feeling bad and you need to cheer yourself up, just grab any Mel Brooks movie and put it in, and they're so stupid and funny and just like madcap and slapstick. Like Blazing Saddles you would
Hmm.
never be able to make that movie nowadays, but when you go back and watch it, it's still just fucking hilarious. Like I just belly laugh at some of the dumbass jokes in it. But yeah, get yourself the Mel Brooks box set, and there's not a bad one in the bunch in that one, man.
Sweet. Okay, everyone seems to find some sort of loophole in this question, so I just kind of let people go with it. So, living or dead, who would you invite to your fantasy dinner party? And you can have 3 people, not including yourself.
I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna put a fourth one on the end. I'm just warning
Of
you
course,
ahead of
you are.
time. Yep. Fred Rogers, also known as Mr. Rogers. He was the host of a children's TV program in the United States. He is literally like the most pure, empathetic, kind person I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I would love to sit down and talk with him. Carl Sagan, the famous scientist, wrote the movie Contact. He was like a integral in like the Voyager space program being sent out into space. He did the Cosmos TV show. The man literally taught me more about science than any other source in my entire life. And George Carlin. Love George Carlin. The dude literally taught me how to think about thinking and being critical about my thinking and not trusting who the people in power who tell me the way it is and things like that, but also like doing it with just like cream of the crop sense of humor. George Carlin was always a huge influence in my life. I saw him live a couple times when I was a kid. He was great. And then my fourth one I'm going to cheat in there is Robin Williams. He's fucking awesome, dude. Can't not like Robin Williams. Come on.
Okay, we'll let you have that 4th one because it's Robin Williams.
Because you can't not let Robin Williams into a 3-person list when he's the 4th guy. You can't do that.
It would be wrong. It would be wrong, and
Yep,
you've already done
I
it, so I
agree.
can't do anything about that.
And I've already done it, so yeah.
Sorry, Robin. Okay, so let's think about a young version of asteroids. So, what was your favorite subject at school?
Recess.
Recess.
I was not a good student when I was younger. It's funny, the story I always tell. I told this to my son recently. When I was in early high school, like 9th grade, so I'm like 15, 16 years old. My high school used to we would all get a printed version of our report card that had all of our grades on it. And they stopped doing it by the time I made my senior year, but it was like my freshman or sophomore year in high school. They would print your rank in your class. So of the 10th grade, you are, number 374 out of 400 students, which means you're like in the very bottom, right? So the last year that they did that, where they ranked you, I literally was the middle number of my class. Like there was 400 students in my class, and I was number 200. So I was like the average C student in high school. And I don't know. I was bored. I didn't like school particularly. When I finally got to college as an adult, I was a straight A student. Like I figured out how to do it. I don't know what happened, but um, when I was younger, I was not into school at all. I was like a screw off. I was like the class clown kind of guy.
I started like laughing then a little bit because I genuinely thought you said you were gonna take that 200 and just somehow magically remove the final zero and just magically get yourself into like upper percentile.
No, no.
I thought this is where this is going, and I love it.
I frustrated a lot of my teachers because they're like, "You have so much potential." I heard that a lot as a kid.
And that's the thing. Again, there's a lot of people who are in education who they only realize how talented and how much ability they have until they get a bit older. And sometimes by then it's too late. And hopefully a lot of people, it isn't too late, but it can happen because obviously the way the education systems are built, sometimes people get left behind because, you know, the education system is the way it is. Okay, so this is where you may win favor, you may lose friends, and you may do something.
I'm
But
ready.
does pineapple belong on pizza?
I had never tried pineapple on pizza, and I was aware of the debate. And then my son went to visit his grandparents and came home and said, "Oh, you got to try pineapple on pizza. It's delicious." And I was like, "Oh, you know about this, right?" Like I was explaining the whole thing
Yep.
to him, that it's this big debate. And he's like, "No," he had never heard of it, right? So I felt like he sort of like got hornswoggled into trying pineapple on pizza, and he'd been like influenced from the outside. But then we started ordering it with pineapple on it. It's fine. It's good. I don't mind, especially if you've got like pepperoni, sausage, bacon, and pineapple on a pizza. Tastes good.
Okay. And again,
I'm anti-gatekeeping. I can't go back.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, we just contradicted everything that we've said earlier.
Exactly. Yep.
So this generally translates a lot easier and a lot more over this side of the water. However, there have been a few times where people in the States and Canada have given me different answers. But what do you call the TV remote in your house?
Probably most commonly we just call it the thing. Hand me the thing, because you can't, like your brain doesn't function that late at night, so it's like the thing. But the moat is kind of the slang term around here. Hand me the moat.
Nice. Because whenever I've asked that, people like just call it the remote. Why? But yeah, over here we've got probably about 10, 15 names, and some that I've never even heard of. Depend on where you are in the UK. But the thing, the to do, the buttons, the clicker. Yeah, there's all sorts.
Clicker, yeah. Clicker is not uncommon over here as well. But sometimes it's just like point and grunt. It's like,
Yeah.
The commercial comes on and it's really loud, and you're like,
It's like an audio remote. Just do it.
Yep.
Okay. If you were a candy bar or a chocolate bar, what would you be?
That was like chocolate bar. I love movie theater candy. Like when you go to the movies and they've got all the good stuff there. So I would probably go with Milk Duds. I don't know if they have those in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Milk Duds. I love strawberry Twizzlers, the licorice. Mike and Ike's. Mike and Ike's are really good. I like those. Milk Duds, though. Milk Duds probably the answer.
So you would be a Milk Dud.
I would be a Milk Dud. That's right.
Okay. Right. So, kind of final question in this kind of section then. Do you have any other interests, skills, hobbies that people might not be aware of and that you don't mind sharing, obviously?
I make music on my computer. I used to, when I was in grade school, I played trombone from when I was like 12 until I graduated high school. So like 6-8 years I played trombone. I started playing guitar when I was in my teens. Self-taught. Just kind of, I'm more interested in making my own music than learning other people's songs is usually kind of how it goes. And then I got into like electronic music. I use a program called Reason. I was actually made originally by a band called the Propellerheads that some people might be familiar with. They had a couple of pretty big songs in the 90s. The scene in The Matrix when he's going through the lobby and all the stone and everything is all blowing up. That's a Propellerhead song, but they made this piece of software. And some of the songs I play, the 2 songs I play before my stream every day, or every time I stream, are both songs that I've composed in Reason myself. So I guess I mix like guitar and electronic music together is sort of my secret little hobby. Someday I'll put out a record and everybody will be like, damn, what a fucking rock star.
Well, well, I was going to ask this because it was going to be one of my spin-off questions based on the fact that we talked about music earlier. I was going to say, are you're kind of musical yourself? But there you go, you just answered it for me.
Yeah, I've you know, like I have an education in music, but mix it with like the being a bad student thing where like I can't read music, like it's gone. That knowledge is vaporized. But like I still have a sense of it. Like I have a keyboard that I hook up to my computer and I can play, you know, keyboard to, you know, input into my song. But it's very laborious, you know. A lot of the stuff that I end up saying, oh, that's a song that I made that's done, is sort of like serendipitous, like happy accidents sort of happen to make things that I like and I'm proud of, and I sort of lean into that. So it's never forced. I don't like sit down and like write lyrics and then go, I need to make music for this. It's more of I'm playing around with my keyboard and something cool comes out of it, and then I hear the words that go with it. So it kind of comes about that way.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to move on now to talk a bit more about gaming and streaming. So what name do you prefer to go by in games? If you meet a random, like if you get an in-game team up, what's your preferred name? And has anyone ever misheard that name and then called you something completely random or something that's really pissed you off?
I don't think that second part's ever really happened to me. I always struggle. It's weird. I have a thing with nicknames. I don't. I never feel comfortable creating nicknames for people, and I don't know. I don't know why. And if I like, sort of come in from the outside into a friend group, and somebody already has a nickname in that friend group, it takes me a long time to like pick it up. Like I don't feel familiar enough with that person to call them by their nickname yet, and it's just a weird social thing that I have. So I've always struggled with that, and then when it comes to me, I feel weird and cringy like creating nicknames for myself. So I don't know, if you've watched me stream, I usually just introduce myself as John. But I probably spend way too much time like thinking about it, like what would be a cool nickname, and you know, like I want to like be like super, you know, I don't know, like the coolest dude in the room, and go with the nickname that Miss Lindsay, Evil Lindsay, created for me, Mr. Ass. I want to tell people my name's Mr. Ass, but I don't feel like I have the braggadocio to pull it off. I don't know.
I love it.
The short, like the less cringy version of that I've thought of is Astro. I would just go by Astro, like the dog on the Jetsons, and it's
nice,
sort
cool.
of a hint. It's a hint to my name, and it's like a cool nickname in the game and something easy to pronounce. But yeah, that's about as far as I've gone down that road.
Oh, heli crash. Are you? I don't know if you're able to. It wouldn't let me light the fire before. Unfortunately, the paper has ruined. I don't know if you've got anything we can.
Oh, I might have a box.
A little thing or two in there.
There you go.
Okay.
Should I put a grenade in there?
Yes, please. Oh, things I can't get the prompt.
You got a lighter?
Yeah.
Here, I got matches.
Oh, you get the prompt. Oh, what the hell? I've been swizzed.
Good.
There we go.
I'm getting confirmation from my chat that I should just go with Mr. Ass, so maybe we'll do that.
It's a big thumbs up for Mr. Ass, I reckon.
It's a big thumb where? What?
In the ass.
Okay, all right. So, I just want to make sure.
Well, they are some serious trousers you got on, so, you know, anything is possible. So, what's your background in gaming? So let's start off with your first system, your first games, and then how did you then get to being a PC gamer?
I've been gaming just about as long as video games have existed. Like I said earlier, one of the first video games I ever played was Asteroids. Space Invaders. Those came out in like 1978, 79. and I have like a vivid memory of playing those at a campground. We used to go camping a lot when I was a kid. We had like a Winnebago, and we'd drive around in the summer. And we stayed at some campground, and in the laundry room at all the campgrounds in the 80s, they would have like, a video game. And in the late 70s, that video game was probably Pong, Asteroids, or Space Invaders. So I played a lot of those. I remember begging my parents for quarters to play Space Invaders and Asteroids. So that was kind of like my introduction to it, and I got hooked. And then, the 80s came along and Pac-Man, and so I spent a lot of time in arcades. I had a paper route when I was 12 years old, so I always had way more money than my friends. None of my friends had jobs, so I always had cash. I would always go to the arcade. I would ride my bike to the arcade all the time. And then I don't remember how old I was. When it was a brand new device, my dad came home with a Texas Instruments TI-99 4A computer, which you could play. It had cartridges. You could play video games on it, but you could also like do basic programming and stuff with it. Like it was a keyboard that you put cartridges in. The next console I had after that was a ColecoVision, which is a classic console. I had tons of games for that, and that was sort of like the era where all my friends started getting home systems. So I had a ColecoVision. My best friend had an Atari 2600. My other friend had an Apple IIe computer. We would go play games on that. Somebody had an Intellivision, but they were like too expensive for like any one kid to own all the consoles at once back then. It's kind of still the same way, I guess. So all of my friends were into video games. We would go to each other's houses, and when it got a little further along in that era, you could go to like the VHS video store, like Blockbuster or whatever, and you could rent Nintendo games. And so I had an NES, I had a Sega Master System, I had a Sega Genesis, I had the Sega CD, I had a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 4, I had the original Xbox, I had an Xbox, like it's Xbox 360, it just goes and goes and goes. So the last console I bought was a PS4, and then I switched over to PC pretty much full time.
Now, the big question is, how many of those systems do you still have?
All of them.
Nice.
All of them. Yeah, I don't know how I managed to do it. I was a pretty chilled out kid, and I always took care of my toys. I have a lot of my old toys. I have all my old Legos from when I was a kid still, and my son and I would play with those. When he was little, we would play with all my old Legos. So I had a lot of like toys that were like really special to me. Like I had, it wasn't just like consoles back then too. Like you could go, there was a business in the United States called Radio Shack. I don't know if they had those over there. But it was like, you could literally go in there and buy like resistors, and you could buy the stuff to make like your own PC boards and things like that. But they also had like all of these like Japanese import games that were like handhelds and stuff that were just like, it was one game, but it would sit on your lap and you would play like one game. So I had tons of those things, So yeah, I've been into video games my whole life. It's hands down my favorite hobby of all time, obviously.
Did you ever have a system that would require just a cassette?
Like a
tape,
cassette, like music tape?
Yeah.
We had a bunch of attachments for there. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't think I ever had one of those. I know I played with one of them once, but I never owned one of those. I found it.
Well, go on.
Go ahead.
I say one once came in my possession, and I literally had no idea how to make this thing work. And it was just like typing all these different. Obviously, you didn't have YouTube and all that to work out.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I'd like work it out, and then all of a sudden, the tape deck just starts into life and starts playing this thing, and I'm like, how long do I sit and wait now? What's it doing? And because my parents.
It had to fast forward, and then it would find the data, and then it would rewind, and it would like load it from different parts of the tape into memory, and then you could play that was crazy, dude.
And because my mum and dad weren't particularly interested in gaming or anything like that, or my dad had done anything, they were like, turn it off, it might blow up. And I'm like, it might. It might, I don't know, but here we go, we'll go with this.
So I
had
exposure to I had some exposure to like interesting older computers. My dad, he was in the U.S. Air Force during Vietnam, so he's of that era of like very early computers, and he was a computer programmer in the Air Force, and he retired after his 4 years, and got out, and then went into like programming. But he worked for there's a company in the United States called Jostens, and they make jewelry and all kinds of weird stuff. Um, but I remember going to his office when I was a kid, and he had like the reel-to-reel computer tape banks. Like if you watch the movie War Games with Matthew Broderick, and he's like walking through, and there's all these machines with like tape going back. It looked just like that. It was like that. But he would bring home all this like weird computer equipment that they were retiring out of their office, and I would like set it up like I was in the command module of like the space shuttle or something. I would just like push buttons and flip switches on it and stuff. And so I always had like weird tape decks and things like that to play with, but I wasn't like using them properly. Like I was a little too young for it.
Okay, cool. A lot of people don't have a good answer for this one, and they're always quite happy with their choices. So, but you've played a lot of games on a lot of different systems. Is there a game that you played and you wish you hadn't? Is there a game that you've expelled so much time on, and you got to the end of it, and you're like, "What on earth was that?"
No. Like when I read books, if I'm not enjoying myself, I'm not afraid to like put down a book halfway through and never finish it. And I know like a lot of people just can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the same way with video games. If I'm not having a good time, I just drop it. I guess I like a lot of stuff. Like I'm sort of willing to try anything, but I think the best answer to your question is like Escape from Tarkov taught me that I don't really like extraction shooters. I don't really care for that mechanic. It doesn't engage me,
Yeah.
So when I was really excited to try Tarkov because I was into DayZ already, and I'm like, oh, this looks fun. And it was during the pandemic was when I tried it first, and it was like the perfect. I'm like, oh, well, this is something I can totally get into. Like people put thousands of hours into this game, and I tried it, played it for about 10 hours, and just bounced off it super hard. And then the next extraction shooter came out, and I tried that. I'm like, this is like Tarkov. I don't really care for this, so. It's just sort of more like a genre that I'm not super into, I think.
That's fair enough. That's a good answer. Okay, I'm going to move some questions around a little bit. So you mentioned DayZ there, and as far as I'm aware, DayZ is actually the only game that anyone can play anywhere on any system. But why did you choose DayZ?
I've been playing it since the mod. Let's see, I lived in Nashville, Tennessee for a while, and I met a bunch of guys down there that were all kind of video game nerds like me. And when I moved up to Washington, D.C., where I live now, we would still get online and play. And it was sort of like the beginning. It was like 2007 when I moved here. So it was like the beginning of like online gaming being like good. And sorry, one second. Sorry, Gunnar, can you give me just like 1 minute?
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. So whilst asteroids just take a minute, we are on the Eggcart server, which is hosted by Hard Home. Towards the end, we will stand up and have a little bit of a look around.
I had to answer a couple of questions there. Can you repeat your question again?
Why did you choose DayZ?
Right. So I met a friend through a friend. I'd never met him in real life, and he turned out to be like this milsim kind of a guy, and he had played a lot of Arma. And two of my buddies that I met in Nashville worked with him at the same company, and they're like, hey, we met this guy who's a big gamer, and he's telling us about this mod for this game that he loves called DayZ, and we should all get on and try it because it sounds amazing. And we got on, and we started playing it. Absolutely fell in love with it. And like very quickly sort of became the only thing I was playing for like a very long time. And then, the standalone got announced, and I was super excited for that. And I tried so hard to like the standalone when it first came out. But it was a point in my life where my son was really young, so he was using up a lot of time. And the standalone was sort of disappointing. So I didn't play it for several years. And then came back like gangbusters, like a year before the pandemic started. I discovered TRMZ, Smoke, and Mr. OG on Twitch. And that like reignited my my interest in DayZ, and then it's just been kind of nonstop since then. It's absolutely my favorite game of all time, hands down. no competitors. Like I love a lot of video games. I played a lot of video games, but DayZ just everybody who plays DayZ knows this. It's just different than everything else. There is nothing that quite captures the same feelings and emotions and adrenaline and things that DayZ does. So it's just hard for it to not be your favorite game once you get into it, I think.
No, I completely agree. On the kind of spin-off of that, then, what do you think the most underrated and possibly overrated games there are? And again, it's horses for courses, and people like different games for different things. But do you think any game, well, okay, let's go back. Do you think there are any games that are underrated? And then are there games that you think just didn't quite live up to the hype that the marketing kind of was out there?
That's a good question. I'll answer the second part of that first. I think AAA gaming isn't AAA gaming anymore. I think AAA gaming is doing like the least interesting things in video games now. They all kind of seem the same to me. It's all like all the most popular kind of top tier games now are all extraction shooters. They're all like free to plays. So I think they're just that would answer like sort of the overrated part of it. Like I'm just sort of not into it. Like Fortnite was sort of like the beginning of the end for me, where it became more about like skins and spending coins in the game and all this extra add-on shit that I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
I'm from the era of putting a quarter in a game every time you die 3 times, and it was just like this. I don't want to do games this way, Underrated. One of my all-time favorite games, I just streamed it the other night, is Mad Max, which is like a driving kind of Batman-style combat game from like 2013. It's just so much goddamn fun. And when it came out, it's not underrated now. Like if you go on Steam and you look up Mad Max, it's got very, very high ratings on Steam. But when it came out, people were like, oh, it's so repetitive. Oh, it's so this. And they just kind of like glazed over what was good about it. And it's one of those games where when I just need to chill out and I want to blow some shit up and I want to see some cool physics and I want to just be like have that power trip that video games get you, like that God mode feeling. Mad Max is one that I always go to, and it like regularly goes on sale on Steam for like $3. It's so worth it.
Nice. In terms of streaming, then, so what do you think is the best part of streaming?
Making friends, honestly. Meeting people like you, meeting people like Lindsay, OGT, Salt Machine I was playing with earlier today. You guys are all people that I've met because of DayZ. And one of the reasons I kind of fell off DayZ for a while was my friends group, like IRL friends, were just sort of like, people have kids and people move and they get new jobs and your schedules change and all your gaming buddies just sort of like slowly sort of fade away into the distance. And I was getting really depressed about it because like I still love playing games. And I would play with my son, but he, your son only, kids only want to play with dad so long, right, before they get bored and they want to go do their own thing. And so I was just looking around for like gaming friends, and I'm like, how do I keep enjoying this thing that I enjoy? And then when I started getting into streams and started realizing, some of these people seem pretty cool and I'd like to play with them, but there's like that. There's that cringy feeling that sort of bubbles up where you're just like, I don't want to just like insert myself into a community. Like I don't want to just like, call up Mr. OG on his Discord and go, hey dude, we should play together, when I'm like nobody, I'm just like in his chat, but he doesn't know me, So I realized the fastest way to make friends who play this game is to stream this game. And so I started streaming DayZ to make friends that played the game as well. And it turns out that I just like really enjoy streaming as well. It's fun. It's a fun hobby. And I've met tons of cool people. And now like anytime I want to play DayZ, I can hop in a Discord and say, hey, is anybody around? Anybody want to like get on? What servers you playing? I've always got a game to play now because I've just I found the community where all the people who I was looking for exist,
I think obviously not just DayZ, but I think streaming or gaming in that sense, it can connect a lot of people who lots of people in the room, but if you were in the room with that person, you may have not have connected with, but gaming kind of joins those dots.
Yeah.
and so it's quite a nice feeling when we went on a run, oh god, a few weeks back, where the youngest person in the group was 12 and the oldest person in the group was late 60s, and it's like, this is incredible. For more
and it doesn't matter.
Life, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because you all have the thing in common that's the most important in that moment, and that's the game. You know, it's great. It's a wonderful thing. Like, I don't know a lot of other hobbies other than sports. Like going and rooting for a sports team, you're going to get a wide, range of ages and people at an event like that. But gaming as well. Anybody can get into gaming. There's no like barrier to entry to gaming.
No. And it was the nice thing when we had that run is like the 12-year-old was actually my son. And it was almost quite nice. A lot of the people in the group then took it amongst themselves to make sure that he was looked after. Like, he was there.
He's having a good time. Yep.
Yeah.
It's happened to me too. I played. I don't know if you're familiar with another streamer, Dead by Dawn. He's around. He plays CHF a lot. But he and I were playing Battlefield 6 one day, and my son came downstairs and he's like, "Do you mind if I get in with you?" And I was like, "Don, do you mind?" And he's like, "No." And it was like, "Oh man, your son's like really good at this game, And my son had the biggest smile on his face for the rest of the day because he was like getting recognition for like wrecking dudes. So it was great.
Brilliant. So obviously, continue the questions about streaming. Do you have a favorite streaming moment? Like, it can be from a recent stream or something historical. Is there a moment that stands out where you think that was brilliant?
I really had a lot of fun on Cassinator's birthday stream recently. She did a stream snipe event. I think you were hunting us on there. I can't remember if you were on there or not. I believe you were.
I do like to hunt people.
Yeah, right. There was a moment where we had such a great crew of hunters or of guards on there. I was privileged to be a part of such a skilled crew of protectors. But Chill Pilgrim was just messing around. He was being fun all day, and he found a tent, and he set up a tent on top of a hill. Like, we're in the middle of being like stream sniped by. It was like 40 people at that time. Like, the server was packed. And he grabs the tent and just like throws it down, and he says, "Everyone in the tent." And we're like scooting everybody in the tent. And we got like 6-8 people in just a regular little pup tent. And we closed the thing, and we're all sitting in there laughing about it. And then Salt Machine and Saramore had gone off in the distance, and we're sort of patrolling. And they came back, and they're like, "Where is everybody?" We're like, "We're in the tent. We're in the tent." And so I've watched it back from a couple of different angles now, but Saramore has a really good view of it, where he comes and we open the tent and they both just start belly laughing because all of us are in this tent. And at the time it was just like, oh, what a funny thing to happen. This is great. We're all enjoying ourselves. But the thing that really cemented it as such a great moment was after the fact and watching some streams and stuff. Like Salt Machine he was talking about it today. If you watch back his view of the stream at that moment, just in the background, you can see the guy that ends up killing Cass just like a minute later with a grenade throw just kind of disappear around a corner, and he pitched a grenade in there and missed everybody. So there was like, it's not only the moment, but then you like learn about all the logistics of what was going on afterwards, because like Joshua was doing like a shoutcast stream, and you could like see all the different things that were happening. It was just such like the conflict. It just like summed up DayZ. Like, here's a whole bunch of people having a fun time in an event where the object is to like murder this people, and we're sort of being like lackadaisical about it and just like, oh, whatever, having fun, and came so close to getting killed without realizing it. Like, it really illustrated a lot of like the things I love about DayZ. Like, when you watch an event like that and groups like pass each other by like 20 meters or something, and you just, when you're playing, you don't know that information, but it's fascinating to just kind of like see it play out like that. So
there's a lot of obviously comparisons with other kind of aspects of like life, in terms of the more you play, the luckier you get, which is basically a way of saying the better you get. However, I am a massive believer in DayZ is essentially also built around timing and coincidence, because you could be running one way over a hill through a stream, doing an apartment building, and what are the chances someone is sat in one of those rooms, one of those buildings, running in the same direction as you, especially on a map like, say, Chernarus or Deer Isle, where it's so big, and you run into someone like that. It's incredible. Like, the dynamics behind it all is quite scarily, like,
It's
bizarre.
fascinating to see
Yeah.
it from that God view. That's what's one of the reasons I like watching events more than I think I like participating in them sometimes, because you get to it's something you don't normally see. It's a view that you're not aware of. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's the data that you don't have access to when you're playing, and you get to like watch it, and like the just the close calls, like people just looking the wrong way at like the exact instant that they should have been looking the other way, and it gets them killed, or two people running right past each other like 10 15 meters from each other, and they both look away at the moment where they would have seen each other, and they pass by and nothing happens. It's just crazy. DayZ's such a fun game, man. There's so many
Yeah.
things to enjoy about it.
So, obviously, we've talked about. You mentioned a few names and people you've been involved with and supported, but who was it that was? Would you say it's TRMZ, Mr. OG, that they inspired you to start streaming, or was there someone else as well?
It was Mr. OGX. I don't know. For a long time, he was sort of a love him or hate him guy. I think everybody's realized he's a big giant teddy bear, and it's all a big front at this point. But I don't know. He was like the first guy that I watched where I really felt like it was just him on stream. Like there was no put on. Like I was aware of, Ninja and PewDiePie and all the streamers and all that kind of stuff, and it was just like, oh, this is just a guy who enjoys this game, and he's good at it, and he needed a job, and so he's a pro streamer, and his stream was always really put together. Like he put a lot of work into his sound alerts and his overlays and stuff, and not like over the top, but he's got like a nice solid stream, and I always just thought, wow, he's really doing it right.
So
Yeah, so Lindsay just said in my chat, Robert's stream is actually how I met Evil Lindsay. I met Evil Lindsay through Mr. OG's chat. So it's like, I probably would have found Lindsay eventually in OGT. But it's, yeah, he I don't know what it is about OG, but he's a big teddy bear. That's what it is.
But it's also incredible how streamers and people link us all together in this weird, dysfunctional, potentially connected, disconnect family that we all are. That like this janky, feature-ridden zombie infected apocalypse game. But yeah, it's just weird how we're all connected and people know people, and then people know people through people. It's incredible.
And that's why, like, you get tons of people in, like, as a streamer, you get lots of people in your chat. And we've had this conversation about like parasocial relationships and all that stuff too. But, well, like in your chat, like everybody's talked about this, but it's very easy to make friends through video games. I find it easier to do that in like pretty much any other. Like in person, I'm a little more standoffish and guarded than I would be in a video game, where I'm willing to like sort of let it all hang out and just be myself. And sometimes it just clicks. And like somebody like Lindsay is a great example. Like I remember pretty early on in my streaming career, Lindsay was doing, I think it was her anniversary event or a birthday event or something, and it was when Hishima had just come out and was new, and we all got on there, and I just had such a fantastic time because everybody was just so welcoming and fun,
No, I completely agree. There are some really, really kind and beautiful people in the community who go out of their way to help people.
Absolutely, yeah. It's crazy the amount of work that people put in, looking for like nothing in return. Server creators, mod creators, map creators. There's numerous examples. Everybody knows who they are throughout the community, but they bust their ass to make sure that this game is still fun. Like without those people, this game would be dead. Nobody would be playing DayZ if it wasn't for all that stuff.
We've said this quite a lot on the podcast that me and Rakan, Velvet Goodness, as I call him, have said that the modders, the map makers, the server owners, they are the lifeblood of DayZ. And so yeah, they do an incredible job, usually for nothing in return other than hopefully appreciation and thank you and support when they need it.
They do it for the love of the game, man. They do it for the love of the game, and you can tell.
And what I hate, and it really annoys me, is when they host events and people are just so uppity, belt, like there's a
Fuck all those people. Yeah, and
self
those
entitlement.
are
It's just, you know.
yeah, those are miserable sons of bitches that are like that in real life too. It's not just gaming. Those are the same people that are the gatekeepers. They're the bullies. And you find them in every facet of life. Like you
Mhm.
can't, if we didn't like DayZ and we were all into cars and we went to the car club and we went to car shows and stuff, there would still be those people there that were just like insufferable pricks, you know. So
Yeah.
they're everywhere, and you just sort of ignore them and they move on and whatever. But to their credit, I'm going to use Ariana as an example because she does some of the most amazing events, and I feel like she takes tons of shit from people, and I don't understand why, because she's like the biggest sweetheart. She's doing all this stuff out of the goodness of her own heart, and because she loves DayZ,
Hmm.
and you can tell sometimes that it gets people down. Like you can see when they're getting irritated during an event when that stuff's going off, and then usually when it's over, they kind of can calm down and see it all in perspective and realize that there's more good comments and there's more good feedback than there was bad, and try not to let that one person ruin it for you. But it's hard to not hear criticism and and take it seriously. But yeah,
Yeah.
those people are goddamn saints, dude.
It's great. It's like in a sense that you can still be a volunteer and still do something good, but for some reason, there's a lot of people who do not seem to be able to cut those volunteers any slack whatsoever when
Yeah,
things
that's a
don't go well.
personality. It's a dysfunctional personality trait. It's I don't feel like they're just putting on to get views or whatever. I think that some people are just kind of miserable people.
Hmm. Anyway, let's not talk about the negative fuckers in the world.
Yeah, fuck them.
Let's talk about something positive. Given the chance, though, who would you most like to stream with if you had the chance?
I saw this question ahead of time. I would like to get all of the friends that I've made in DayZ on the same server at the same time to just like do like some deathmatch thing. Like Fatty the Great. Fatty the Great
Hmm.
does like a Sunday night shoot 'em up every once in a while. It's a lot of fun. I would love it if like all the people from Hard Home and like Bizbomb and Spider Bites, and I could name 1,000 people that Rackaroo and all those guys, all the guys that everybody knows. I would love to just get all of us on a server at the same time and have everybody streaming at the same time, and we're all just on there just fucking around and having a good time. Like there's no drama. I'm not trying to make clips. I don't really care what other, like, oh god, so and so's on here, he's a huge streamer, that changes everything. I don't want any of that like drama that goes with that stuff. Just a bunch of friends getting on a server at the same time to all like stream together, I think would be just like the coolest fucking thing that ever happened.
And when those things happen, they are so good for your, like, just this feeling of sense of well-being. We're trying to do these things every so often now, these community runs. We did the first one yesterday where we had it was 14 people, 14 people all on the mouse, all just fucking around, trying to stay alive, talking over each other at times,
Yeah.
like panic shooting, betraying each other. It was brilliant. It was so good. And like there was people who've just started streaming, there's people who've been streaming for years, there's people who were like new to it, people just new to DayZ in a way. And you finished it and you were drained, but you were so kind of there's this warm glow of that was so cool.
It's like that energized, drained, where you're just
Yeah.
everything, you feel good, but you're tired because you felt good for a while, and it's just like, oh, I got to sit down and just absorb some of this glow for a while. Yeah. And I will point out, Punky Bear, who's well known throughout the community, is one of my mods, and she does not stream. And she said, well, I guess I'm not joining that, when I said that it would be fun to get all the streamers together. And when I said that, I mean like all of the friends that I've made. They don't have to be streamers. Like there's plenty of people who are very, very present in the DayZ community that do not stream. And I still consider a lot of those people friends. So you don't
100%.
have to stream to sort of be a part of that community. And I also really like that about the community. Like it's, there's like the good-natured ribbing. Like everybody gives Punky a hard time about like, oh, when are you going to stream, Punky? And she's like, never going to happen, and it sort of becomes a thing. It's just fun, But it's like you can only do that with friends, and I just love that about this whole community.
That's cool. Okay, describe your gaming setup in just 3 words.
All right, I had to think about this one ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty proud of my answer here. My answer is Mission Control Center.
I love it. At least you've not tried to make it a full sentence like some people do.
Yeah, I wanted to
Um,
obey the rules on at least one of your questions. Like, if you want to get deeper, we can go deeper. But Mission Control Center sums it up. Like, you can have a mental image from that.
well, whilst I would always love to go deeper with you asteroids, we do need to keep cracking on. Okay, so can you describe do you have in your head a perfect DayZ run?
Oh man. You spawn on the coast near a well. You find food early so you can run inland. You find a small millie. Nobody's been there yet. Keep heading north. I'm just making this up as I go. You find a gas mask in some shed, and you happen to be near, like a gas zone goes off next to you. You break in there. You find some sweet ass gun, like some LAR or something like that, and you make it to Northwest Airfield, and you get a couple of kills before you just get embarrassingly wasted, and your chat makes fun of you for like a half an hour because of it.
Kind of get the feeling you just relived a few streams there.
Maybe a couple of things got combined into one there. I don't know. I just love playing DayZ, man. It's once I learned to not give a shit about what happens in this game, that was there. You still see people on Reddit post like, "Oh, well, what do I do if I do this?" And you see the people will chime in with like, "Don't fucking worry about it. You know, get killed and respawn and do it again." Once you
100%.
get that, when you realize that the loot up, the incremental dopamine hit of finding slightly better loot over and over is actually the point of this game, is when it like frees you from like gear fear. And when you get killed in some way, well, you like fat finger the controls and it's completely your fault that you died, it just washes off you. You don't care anymore. It's like you reach like this nirvanic state with the game of DayZ where, you know, you're above it, but you still crave, you know, the loot up. That's the strongest part of DayZ.
Yeah, it's brilliant when you can like fat finger the controls, get killed, and then actually just laugh at yourself, going,
Yeah.
What am I meant to be?
Yeah. Or if you just completely bork your entire situation and like there's no way you're getting out of it, but somehow you do. Like you wake up while the guy's looting you and he doesn't realize you're dead, and you manage to drag your gun back to your hands and flip over and shoot him in the crotch. It's like the greatest thing that ever happened to you, you know?
Like the other day, I was on Nihheim, and I decided in my infinite wisdom to try and take on two guys at the same time, and I got killed.
Oh.
And someone said in the chat, "Well, that's embarrassing." I was like, "Well,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna respawn and do it again, probably." So
do it
there we
again,
go.
yeah.
Yeah. So watch this, motherfucker.
Yeah. One of my emotes is literally just the text that says "insert coin," and it's there to remind me, just go again. You know,
Yeah.
again but better. You know, it's the only up mod. It's the same thing. It's like when I was a kid and you died in a video game, you just put another quarter in and you did it again. Because why are you there? Because it's fun. You know, and if you're at a point with a video game where it's no longer fun, like stop, play something else, take a break. You know, it's supposed to be, you're doing this because it's fun. You know, and if you're getting irritated with it, you need to step away.
Okay, last question in this kind of section is double barrel. So like, and we'll start off with the positive part. Is like, what do you think is the best part of DayZ? And then the flip side of that is, which part of DayZ would you remove, replace, or does your head in the most?
That's a tough one. What's the first half of that question again?
What's your favorite part of DayZ?
Favorite part.
Or what's your favorite? It could be anything. What's your favorite loot? What's your favorite town? What's your favorite gun? Like what is it when you find it, or you go there, or you do something makes you go fuck yeah? And then obviously on the flip side of that, is there a sound in DayZ or a gun or something that makes you go get rid of it? It does my head in.
I hate whatever it is that is the sound that's it's hidden in the rain audio file, or it's hidden in the trees blowing audio, where it sounds like something that it's not. I feel like that actually exists in DayZ, like footsteps, or you think you hear somebody switch guns, but then you never quite know. But it's like there's the winds blowing or the rain is falling, and it's like you're hearing voices, right? It's like in real life that happens too. Like you hear voices in the wind and things like that.
We've basically just confirmed DayZ paranoia is a thing.
Exactly. No, it's real. It's real. Dude.
Yeah.
It's real. Something I would get rid of. Boy, I don't know.
Yeah, if you never saw it again in game, you wouldn't be upset about it.
Handbug. Handbug drives me
yeah.
insane. Ghost bullets is on that list.
Yeah.
Just bugs. Bugs in general, I guess.
You would like to call them features. Okay, so what's what's your what's your favorite gun then? So when you find this particular gun, like, does it make you tingly a little bit?
Thought Machine's in my chat. He's gonna hate this answer, but sawed-off double barrel shotgun.
Oh.
The Street Sweeper.
If you found a double barrel, then would you, if there's an eligible mod on that, would you get it sawed off just to kind of scratch that itch?
So I'll keep a long double barrel when it's my primary. When I find something that's gonna become my primary and I have a hacksaw, that double barrel is getting sawed off and it's going in my bag because it is like the best surprise CQB gun there is in the game, because you can fire both. I always put it on both barrels when I've got it sawed off, because you whip it out and you're firing, 16 buckshot pellets at the same time. So that's 16 bullets coming out of your gun at once. And if you were close enough to someone, they are gonna fucking die. There's no doubt about it.
I don't want to end the interview on that because that's fucking sinister, but I do agree. I do agree a lot. So what do you, and this is a bit of a loaded question, I suppose. So what do you think the future of DayZ is going to be? Or is it not something you've given much thought to?
I mean, DayZ 2 is something everybody talks about, but I worry about a sequel to this game. Like, it has to happen eventually. It does. But I hope they don't change too much about it. Like, sometimes, what's the quote? Perfection is the enemy of good. And if you try to improve too many things or change too many things about this game from the way it currently is, I feel like it'll lose something. I fear that it'll lose something. But at the same time, like, through modding and map creation, there are so many things out there that I think should be a part of the base game. Like, I really like the mod where you can look up with a canteen or a water bottle in your hand and catch rain. I think that's cool. I think that should just be a part of the game, stuff like that. So I would hope that they would be thoughtful about what they add. I don't think there's much that I would remove from DayZ. I don't think there's any mechanic or gun or piece of clothing that I think is like so super OP or egregiously out of place that I would take it out. But I would probably just add a lot of stuff like that, like quality of life improvements, things along those lines. Like I used to watch a lot of Amish Zed. I haven't watched him in a while because our schedules are sort of off. But I remember having a conversation in his chat once where we were talking about gas zones and how do you improve gas zones, and the idea started coming up where it was, what about different types of gas, and you need to have different equipment to deal with them. Like, some of them were maybe didn't require a gas mask, but you could incorporate like some other component where you had you sort of, like, gas zones are just like a singularity at the moment. It's like, oh, there's gas. Well, if you don't have full NBC, you ain't going in there. Well, okay, well, that kind of sucks because it's super hard to roam around with a full set of NBC gear. So I know there's a lot of servers that mod that where it's you only need a gas mask. Well, then you're sort of making the gas zone not as important. Like, I loved it when they added gas zones, but I feel like it's not fully fleshed out. So stuff like that I think would be great improvements for DayZ 2.
I once bumped into Image Zed on Chinaris, and it was one of those moments where you look back and you think, you can kind of see what he meant, but also, next time I'm gonna fucking shoot you. Like, we bumped into each other, and he has a very distinct voice. And I said, "Oh, how you doing?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm doing good." I said, "What are you up to?" He goes, "Oh, I'm looking for a boat." And I was, I have no idea where they spawn. And he said, "Well, In the water, probably. And I was like, first thing that came into my head, I was like, don't be cheeky bastard, right? Fucking on about. And then I walked away and then ran off. And as I was thinking, are we under attack?
I was doing that for you. That was me shooting Amish Zed for you for that answer.
Thank you. But
That
as I got,
cheeky answer.
I was
In the
running with
water.
a couple of other
Oh yeah,
people.
in the
and-
water.
and I was-
Smart ass.
and I can completely understand his answer, but I was like, "You cheeky bastard!" Yeah. And then when I went back after I'd finished streaming, I went into his chat. Oh, careful! I saw that people were like, "That dude was proper sketch," and I was like, I literally was just saying, "I have no idea where the boats are."
Yeah, I don't know where the boats are. What do you mean skit?
And I was like, "Okay, fine. Fuck you. Hope you never found your boat." Also,
Funny, dude.
sorry for sketching you out, for being honest. Okay,
Yeah.
final section. It's a this or that type thing now. So I'm going to give you a
Hit
couple
me.
of options, and you've got to pick. Okay, music or podcast,
Music,
tea or coffee,
coffee,
mountains or city,
mountains,
mountains or beach.
beach.
Yeah. PS. PlayStation or Xbox.
That's a tough question, man. Probably Xbox. I think there were more exclusives on Xbox that I liked. I was never really into Last of Us. Like, I love watching Last of Us, but I don't like playing it. So like it's the exclusives that decide that one for me. I'd probably go Xbox.
Have you ever played DayZ on the Xbox?
I have not, and I think I would probably blow my brains out if I tried. I've watched enough console play in DayZ to realize that the way you interact with your inventory is fucked on console. I couldn't do it.
It's hard. I do a console stream every Friday, and
Oh my god, dude.
every month I switch between PlayStation and Xbox, and it fucking blows my mind. Like, because I'm changing controller, it's just
Yeah.
a proper mindfuck. It's so hard. And like I've never actually really played. But the Xbox in my house was literally just a fucking fancy paperweight, and so I've only ever actually played on the Xbox probably 10, 12 times in total.
Yeah.
And of that 10, 12 times, 8 of them have been DayZ. So I have like 20 hours on DayZ Xbox, and it's tough going. Like, you make so many little errors. And I think a huge shout out goes to the really good PvPers who play console.
Oh my
because
god, yeah. I don't know how
fuck
they
me,
do it,
that's
man.
hard work. I'm great in straight lines, but that's it. Okay.
It's
DayZ
aiming
or
with the
Rust?
controller. Aiming
It
with
is.
the controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it boils down to. But I will say, I think my view of Xbox versus PlayStation is clouded by the original Xbox, which has a special place in my heart because it had a lot of really cool games that you couldn't play anywhere else. And I had a PS1, and then I had a PS2, and then I got an original Xbox, and it like I'd had a whole bunch of PlayStation already at that point. So it was something about that console was pretty special.
Okay, next one. DayZ or Rust?
DayZ.
Going in or staying out?
Going in. I was gonna say staying in. Going.
Going in. All right, cool. You can only carry one: an M-Lock, an IJ, or a CR.
M-Lock's got the 15-round mag. I gotta go with M-Lock.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs. I prefer dogs, but I have not had one for 2 cats. I've been through 2 cats after my last dog, so I'm kind of a cat person right now. I appreciate the ease of cats, but I miss sort of the camaraderie of having a dog.
Hang on, I need to double ask this question. Double check on this question. Do you measure time by number of cats or by actual numbers? Like what?
Just it's a funny question.
It's been 2 cats since I've done this. So
Well, actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it's 3 cats, and this is I don't want to get into a tragic story on your podcast or anything, but we had bad luck with cats. We got a kitten that fell and died when my son was very young, and he got like that that pet dying lesson way too early, and I felt really bad about it. So we got another cat, and then not long after that, that cat got leukemia. So it sort of became a joke in my house that we should name our next cat Snowball 3, like in The Simpsons, because
Yeah.
we were going through them so fast.
At some
But
point,
our
though, I
current-
am going to use
yeah.
this measure of time. It was 3 cats
Cats.
ago.
But our boy now is very healthy. He's very happy. Alex has been with us for like 4 years now, so he's doing good. He's broken the curse, I think.
Good. Okay, would you rather make food or order in?
Probably make food.
Summer or winter?
I don't like being hot and I don't like being cold. I like being in between. My favorite season is fall. I love autumn. I grew up in Minnesota and I've had enough cold. So in the confines of your question, I'm gonna choose summer because I hate being
good.
cold.
Good. Sweet or savory? And you're going to tell me that you want to be in the middle, aren't you, again?
Savory. No, I'm going hard savory. I love salty. I love like that greasy umami. Give me that. Give me that.
Yeah.
Savory. Yeah.
Oh, baby. Movies
baby.
or books?
Movies. I do like a good book. I always try to be reading something at all times. I have a book I've been hauling around with me for a couple of months that when I'm like at a doctor's appointment or in a waiting room or something, I read. I force myself to like have a book nearby so that I can at least stay up with it. So I do plow through a decent amount of books every year, just because I sort of force myself to keep it up because I think it's important.
Mm-hmm. Fruit or veg?
Fruit.
Shoes or slippers?
I wear shoes a lot. I have like house shoes. I wear shoes in my house. I don't take shoes off when I'm in the house. I have a pair of house shoes.
Nice. Do you sing in the shower or sing in the car? Or both?
Car mostly. I do sing quite a bit. Only when I'm alone. That's kind of an interesting thing that happened with streaming. A lot of people started telling me I had this great voice, and I'd never really gotten that feedback from anywhere before. So it was sort of hard to like take that compliment for a long time because I was always sort of like a private singer.
Well, this is good. This is the final question in this section, then. Well, kind of. Are you a karaoke king? And if so, what is your song of choice?
I have never sung karaoke because I have like a weird fear of doing it. And I've been to karaoke a bunch of times with friends where I got tons of pressure and I never had the balls to stand up and do it. And it's always been sort of a regret. So at some point in my life, I need to just bite the bullet and get up there and sing something. And as far as what song that would be, that's tough. I have no idea, dude. I don't have a good answer for you.
Keep it in mind because you never know. You know it's going to happen sometime then maybe. Okay, final bit. It's about maps. So, Chernarus or Livonia?
Chernarus.
Or Cheranus. Cheranus or Bannoff?
Cheranus.
Cheranus on a Malsk.
I go Chernarus still.
Okay, Chernarus or Sakal?
I'm gonna go with Chernarus.
Chernarus or PNW?
Chernarus.
Chernarus or Deer Isle?
I might have to go Deer Isle on that one. Deer Isle is a phenomenal map. It's pretty goddamn good. I've had a lot of fun on Deer Isle.
Okay, we might struggle to beat Deer Isle. Deer Isle or Zelador?
Zelador is really interesting. I want to see it in its completed state. I know DaGrinchy's been working on that shit for a long time. Every time I play it, there's some new fascinating thing. I know I've probably seen about like 3% of that map, so I don't feel qualified to really criticize it because it's insane. There's so much shit on Zelador. But I'm going to go with Deer Isle over that.
Deer Isle or New York?
Deer Isle.
Deer Isle or Siberia?
I'm going to go with Deer Isle still.
Deer Isle or Altaria?
Still going Deer Isle.
Deer Isle or Bitterroot?
Still going with Deer Isle.
Deer Isle or Neheim?
Still going with Deer Isle. I haven't played much
Deer
Neheim. I can't really do that one. I've hardly played any Neheim.
Okay, Deer Isle or Green County?
Still going Deer Isle.
Deer Isle or Avalon?
Still going with Deer Isle.
And if I put any other map in front of it, would it still be Deer Isle?
I'm gonna shout out Nate's map, The Outpost, because
yeah.
it's not done. It's nowhere near done. He commonly says he's about, I think, 30% finished with that map. Is a pretty generous estimate. But there is something special that he's got going on that map that I don't think anybody else has quite cracked yet. And I can't really put my finger on it, but part of it is the southern half of his map being unfinished, but still having like some major POIs sort of dotted around, showed me something that I'd never seen in DayZ before, which was how big, wide, open spaces between POIs can be engaging in a very different way from any other map. Like you are just isolated in almost like kind of a desert environment.
Yeah.
And if you don't plan before you move, you're gonna fucking die on that map. And when you play his first server where he's got like the Anetia Pain mod on there, and he's got his zombies that throw stuff and bash down doors, and then he also has like the varied zombie speed on there. So some of them are like Walking Dead slow walkers, some of them are normal vanilla DayZ zombies. There's like some kind of like special sauce, like greater than the sum of its parts thing that he's got going on there.
I remember playing the first play test on that, and there was times where, like you said, there's just something about, I completely forgot about Outpost, but yeah, there's something about the map that just engages you constantly.
And it's another one of those maps. It's like Deer Isle, it's like the Malsk. It's very unique in the maps of DayZ. Like he has created another one. Like I don't mean this in a negative way, but like Alteria, Nihheim, New York, a lot of those maps that have been floating around they're DayZ maps. They're nice DayZ maps, and I like the variety that they add to it. But they're not doing something that's just sort of revolutionary in the way that Deer Isle and the Malsk or Outpost does. Like I feel like Outpost belongs in sort of a separate category with some of those more unique maps.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, dude, we've done an hour and 40 of chatting, and I really appreciate the time that you've taken today. It's been really cool. The Streamer Spotlight is trying to find out a little bit more about people, some really cool people in the community. I know that you try and get around chats and support people. It's really cool what you do. And whenever I've bumped into you in game, you do have just this really calming, distinct voice, and I'm like, that's Asteroids. And it's just popped up in my chat saying it sounds like he has a really beautiful singing voice. So I reckon you should be popping something out. But yeah.
Do you want me to sing you something? I'll sing you something. You ready? Suck on a stiff cock. Tail with me. Suck on a stiff cock. Tail with me, suck on a stiff cock. I'm in the fire.
Mind the fire.
Tail with me, suck on a stiff cock. Tail with me.
Beautiful. Well, you know what? And as the fire goes out, and so does the stiff cock, I suppose. I want to say a massive thank you again to Hard Home, Evil Lins, and OGT for helping us do with this. And also Asteroids again. Thank you for being the Streamer Spotlight for May. We've still got another week, so we will get obviously when you're live on the Discord, get a few more clips on there. But yeah, big thank you, dude. And we will be making, this will go up onto YouTube, so it'll be there forever. So you and your stiff cock will be immortalized forever.
Excellent. Something for my son to inherit that actually has value.
Exactly. And that, exactly. It's all about giving. We've got nothing else to give, but here you go. And as my chat
says, it's a lot of fun. I appreciate it, man.
I just want
to shout out to everybody who's listening. Make sure you go follow Gunner and listen to his podcast. This is really cool.
Beautiful. Right, guy. I'm gonna raid out. So I appreciate you, dude, and I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, mate. Have a good one.
Take care. See you in a bit. Bye bye. Wow. Well, that's one way to fucking end, isn't it? Right, we are going to raid. We are going to quickly jump over and raid Asteroids, because who else are we going to raid? He is a really cool guy. So let's quickly get over there. What? Can't believe you did that. Well, I can. I definitely can. So let's jump over there. I will pop that onto YouTube for anyone that has missed it. But this is the second asteroids raid of the day. But anyway, guys, take care. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part of it. And I'll see you all.